I've read a lot of cold pitches from freelancers, agencies, small businesses of all kinds over the years, and I'll just say that 95% of these pitches have been rough. AKA never in a million years would I respond to these pitches, and they're always bad for the exact same 7 reasons. So a few months ago, I actually made a little folder in my inbox and started organizing these pitches in preparation to film this video one day, and today is that day. So let's talk about why most cold pitches suck, featuring examples of some subpar pitches I've gotten, and of course, how to write actually good cold pitches that actually get replies as a freelancer. Okay, so I just want to make 3 fast disclaimers. 1, I applaud all these people for pitching. Pitching is really scary. 2, the point of this video is not to make any of these people feel bad. I've written some really bad pitches myself early on in my journey. The point of this video is to give some constructive criticism from the perspective of the person actually reading the pitch and give ideas on how to make it better to get that response rate up. 3, I promise I'm a nice person. Okay, disclaimer over. All right, let's do it. Let's pull up Bad Pitch Exhibit A onto the screen where we will see the first and biggest problem by far with most cold pitches. This is a foundational issue. Cold pitches are 80% research. Research is the 80-20 of cold pitching, and I don't want to argue about this because it's what I believe to my very core, very essence of being. If you aren't doing any research, you should not be cold pitching. It's a waste of your time. So the reason I did not respond to this one is because I assume it's a total copy and paste job. There's nothing specific in here, not even my name. This person took no time writing this and sending this to me. This has nothing, and I can't stress how much nothing it has to do with my business, with my website, with anything I do, which this person could have easily figured out by doing just a little bit of research. So first up on the board, a bombastic cold pitch needs to be well researched. That's number 1, non-negotiable. So now, more specifically, in your research, you need to find the answers to these 3 questions. Number 1, who is this person I'm pitching and what do they do? So what I do is I crawl their website, their social, I consume a few of their recent pieces of content, watch those, listen to those, read those. And when I do this, I write down 2 to 3 specific things I can mention in the pitch. I always pitch with specifics to show like, hey, I actually did watch your video or I actually did read your blog post. So let's pull up this example. So I'll be honest, this is not a horrible pitch. It's actually pretty good. It's pretty nice. It's well written, but it could still be a copy and paste because of how vague it is. So if this person did watch my videos, this pitch could easily be so much better if they reference something specific. And here's another example of a vague opener that could have been way more specific if research was done. So examples of what I might write. Instead of saying, I love your recipes, I might say, I loved your recent cinnamon hot chocolate recipe video. I've made it 5 days in a row. Bam. Now it's personal, right? Now it's like crystal clear. This is not copy pasta. Now you see I'm a human being talking to you, a fellow human being, and I actually did a little bit of homework. You've also potentially opened up a conversation with this person by giving them that talking point. So here's some examples of other specifics I've used in real cold pitches that I have sent on the screen. The research you do helps you also write your pitch in their voice, which is so important. People write so professionally to me. They're like, Dear Dea, there is a plethora of news circulating in your business space. I mean, does any of this signal to you that I am a very professional, very corporate CEO of like a 9-figure global freight shipping company? I mean, I don't think so, but if that's the way I'm presenting myself to the world, then... Now, of course, there is a scale of casualness in writing. There's ultra professional, and then on the other end of the scale, there's just something like this. And I swear there's a happy middle, so please find it and match it to the person that you're pitching. Second question, do they seem to have their stuff together? This question is important for you as the freelancer. Is this a legit business? Do they have enough cash flow to actually hire you? There's a huge difference between a solopreneur that posts once a month on Instagram and has a super outdated website versus a small business owner that has posted weekly on YouTube and Instagram and mentions having customers and a small team already that helps them. So you need to verify that this person is actually worthwhile to pitch. You don't want to pitch somebody who's not at the stage to pay you money. If you need more help on this question, aka like figuring out if someone is worth pitching, then the last video in this series will be helpful. I break down exactly who you need to be pitching and how to identify these sweet spot clients, and I'll link that for you down below. The third question is, do they actually need my help, and what can I help them specifically with? This is a super underrated question, and I cannot say that strongly enough. Does this person actually need help from me with the service I offer? Is there demand for what I'm offering? For example, I don't pitch team management to a solopreneur with no team. I may offer instead to help help them with hiring, aka I pitch my hiring package if they mention that they're burnt out and at max capacity on their Instagram stories. I also wouldn't offer video editing to someone who seems like they already have a great video editor. I may offer help instead with content management if they seem to not be super organized in terms of their workflow or content production processes. So it's very important to identify what they could potentially need and give them what they actually need. Pitch what they need and you'll already be like 500 miles ahead of everybody else. So here's a real example, and I get a lot of pitches to design my thumbnails. And I first want to commend and thank those that pitch me with thumbnail samples, especially samples of my face doing all kinds of wonderful, horrible things. Thank you. Now I just want to ask you really quick, whether you like or don't like my thumbnails, does it look like I have a thumbnail designer already? Probably, right? Like my thumbnails look pretty uniform across the board. They have a very clear style, very clear vibe. It's evident I've probably worked with the same thumbnail designer for over a year because my thumbnail style is consistent. So those assumptions would be 100% correct. So shout out to my wonderful video editor and thumbnail designer, Matilda. So the reason I don't respond to thumbnail pitches is because I already have a thumbnail designer that I know and love. And I think that's something you can probably deduce via research. So that's an example of pitching something that this person is not demanding. So ideally you're only pitching things that are big problems, big current demands for the business owner. All right, next let's pull up Exhibit B, which this person is persistent. Exhibit B, if you're watching this, I commend your persistence. They have sent me a lot of emails, but I haven't responded for a very specific reason. So let's look at this. So what is wrong with this pitch? This pitch is something I pulled up to illustrate an important point, and that is when writing your pitch is not about you. Your pitch needs to be about the person that you're pitching. So essential. This is a huge issue. We're all very self-centric. We're all the main characters of our stories, rightfully so. But if you're pitching someone else, they don't care about what you get out of this yet. They are only thinking, what's in it for me? So answer that question. What is in it for them? Why should they read your pitch? Why should they respond? Why do you have something interesting for them? And I will say a great way to highlight what's in it for them is to adapt what you do to their business and their goals. That's really like the sexiest cold pitch you can ever write. So for example, as a digital business manager, I manage businesses as a freelancer. So technically in a cold pitch, I could just say, hey, I manage businesses, but that's not tailoring what I do to a client or their goals at all. That's not communicating clearly how me managing businesses does anything for them. It doesn't really communicate what's in it for them, right? So if I'm pitching a course creator, I would instead say something like, I manage courses just like their course name. I'd love to help you get an evergreen funnel set up to generate some revenue month over month between your biannual launches, and would be more than happy to help you brainstorm and create an actionable plan to improve your student experience and increase retention in your community. I'm giving them specific examples of what I can do to help them, how I'm relevant for them, and I'm tying what I do as a freelancer to the goals that they genuinely care about, which is business revenue and student experience. If you walk away from this video with anything, please let it be what I just said. It's so important. And another tip, highlight how they win in the pitch. Do that and you'll be doing more than most cold pitches out there. Here's a quick tip on that. Find out how they specifically want to win. What is winning to the person you're pitching? Is it selling more of their products? Is it impacting more people? Is it getting a higher CTR on their videos? What would you guess winning is for them based on your research? So show them that you understand that, show them that you care about them winning, then show how you will help them win in as much detail as possible. All right, Exhibit B also leads me to my next point. I don't know if you spotted this already. And that is, I have no clue what this person wants. This is super unclear to me. So up on the board next, your pitch needs to be crystal clear. Do not make the person you're pitching reply and ask you for what it is that you are pitching. Make it clear what you want. Otherwise, you're creating more work for the person you're pitching already. You're already making their life harder, and that's a terrible first impression to make. So be clear, read your email again, cut out unnecessary fluff or any rambling. I'm very guilty of this, by the way. Make it succinct and have someone else read it and ask them, is it clear what I want? All right, next up is Exhibit C. So what is wrong with this pitch? Well, mostly it doesn't establish any credibility. When you pitch someone, they have zero clue who you are. There's no trust built between you and them yet. They don't know how great you are yet. So you need to give them a little something to say, oh yeah, by the way, I'm awesome at what I do. So next up on the board, our pitch needs to be clear on why you. So there are three main reasons to establish why you. Number one, text or video testimonials work really well, always. As an example, I got this great pitch where someone attached a great video testimonial testimonial to the email already, so I could view it right in the email. I didn't have to click anywhere. It was also pretty convincing to hear good things about this company from a third party. Here's some other good examples. These were also good pitches with good credibility because they hyperlinked past clients they've already worked with or showed off their clients' credibility. Another easy way is via numbers, metrics, stats of some kind. So for example, I love this one. Numbers, especially money numbers, are super credible and speak to ROI for business owners. It's what business owners care about at the end of the day. Another way, and I love these, I love seeing samples. Samples are almost always the first things I want to see in a pitch. So if you're pitching copywriting, show me copy. If you're pitching graphic design, show me graphics. But the important caveat here is these have to be very good samples. Do not rush these samples. If you know people are reading your pitches and not replying, make sure you get some people to critique your portfolio or your samples. Does anything jump out to them? How can you make sure that these are the best samples you can make? Because if you're sending these samples out to everyone, they need to be really, really good. All right, so now you've done your research, you've written a cold pitch that is about them, that builds credibility, that is clear. Good job, good job, good job, good. I don't know why I'm clapping like this. Now up on the screen, let's get Exhibit D. D is for Dea because yes, this is a cold pitch I wrote back in 2017. It's hilarious. Let's roast it.
Hi, my name is Dea. Just wanted to reach out and say you run an amazing website and Facebook group. You're always providing such valuable content. And to be honest, I've read literally every single one of your blog posts, lol. I have never come across such incredibly value-filled and detailed blog posts before. I just wanted to reach out and say if you're ever looking for a project or content manager, I'd love to interview for the position. I really believe in the remote online creative mission, and I'd love to join a team that is striving so hard to help others realize that there are amazing alternatives within reach online. Blah, blah, blah. I've been working as a project and content manager managing websites, blogs, podcasts, courses, programs, videos, etc. for a while now, and I think this may be a good fit for the kinds of content that you have. I'm not quite sure how big your team is, but generally I manage freelance writers, VAs, editors, all online via project management tools like Slack, Trello, Asana, and Basecamp. I love to connect with websites and people I read and enjoy, as I think it could be a good fit considering how much content you develop and how that output tends to follow a process that needs to be taken care of. What am I even saying? If you have any questions, please let me know. Anyway, from a fellow blank, thanks for taking the time, and I hope you're having a wonderful week. That's Dea.
So it is okay. It's not horrible. I think it is honestly way too long. It kind of repeats too much stuff. It's not super succinct. I definitely improved a lot since then. But the biggest issue I think with this is this is not an actionable email. Like there's no good, no-brainer next step for someone to take. And you know, if someone is nodding like yes, yes, yes to your cold pitch while reading it, you don't want to lose them in the call to action. So your pitch needs to give them that no-brainer next step. And it needs to be so easy for them to move this along. Don't make them do work to take next steps. Don't make them have to think up of questions. If you want them to book a call, make it clear it's a 15-minute call. Really easy. Name the call something that highlights the value you're going to give them, right? Like 15-minute blank audit call where you quickly give them 1 to 2 quick tips on the call. If you want them to reply to your email, ask them a really simple, really specific question at the end. Really simple, like it takes them less than a minute to reply. You can go for a conversation starter like, I noticed you're debating between Asana or ClickUp. I have a quick free guide of pros and cons between the two tools that may be helpful for you to make that decision. If that would be helpful, I'm happy to send it over. Just let me know. All right, now honestly, this is exhibits E through literally Z. Have you dotted the I's? Are you following proper grammar and spelling rules? Run it through Grammarly once or twice. If someone is not spell checking a cold pitch, which is something they're trying very hard to make a good impression on, can we trust them to be detail oriented once we hire them? And very small tip, after you finish writing your pitch and you're about to send it off, highlight all of the text and adjust the font and size so it's all the same. Different fonts and sizes make it obvious that you kind of like copy and pasted from a template. It's not a huge deal, but it's just a small touch to look out for. And last but not least, follow up. So important. Follow up at least 2 to 3 times over the next 2 to 3 weeks. So important. Do not lose them in the lack of follow-up. So summary, do your research, make it about them, make it clear, make it credible, give them a no-brainer next step, quadruple check it, and follow up. All right, next up in this series, I want to share real examples of cold pitches I've sent that have landed me clients and a few of the best cold pitches I and my business friends have ever gotten as well. You can catch it here. I don't know why I did it like that. If you want to keep this watch train going, I'm presenting it to you. You can click it if you'd like. All right, it's going now. And as always, thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Okay, bye.